Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, we have a hardware review. We are checking out the FiFine Tank3 Podcast Microphone. Let's check it out. So the people at FiFine reached out to me asking if I wanted to check out their microphone, and I love hardware reviews just as much as I love software and plugin reviews for you guys, so why not take a look at the Tank3 Podcast Microphone. The company is called FiFine. It's F-I-F-I-N-E, but they've told me it is FiFine. The Tank3 has dual output, as XLR output as well as USB-C output, so it makes it really easy and handy if you're just like a gamer and you just need to plug it into your computer, or you try your own podcast, you're the host of your own show, you have your own YouTube channel, whatever your situation may be, there is versatility in how you hook up this microphone. But I haven't even seen it yet, so let's get it out of this box. Obviously, we have our instructions right on top, but we don't need those. We'll get those out of the way. Opening things up, here is the microphone. So we'll start off with the actual mic itself. Nice build. It's got some good weight to it. It's got a nice yoke arm that we can tighten up here, and it's pretty good, even with whipping it around. It holds into position. If this was on a stand and just kind of locked in, yeah, that'll work just fine. If we look at the back of the microphone, we see three connections here. We have our USB-C, we have the XLR output, and we also have a headphone output right back here. On the top of the microphone, obviously, we have the brand right there, but we have a little mute switch, a physical mute switch on the top of the microphone itself. And I do know that this does light up. There's an LED in there to signify green or red. Green, you're live. Red, you're cut. And then also we have two controls on the side of the microphone. We have the gain of the microphone itself as well as the headphone output. Because sometimes maybe if you're hosting your podcast, you need to be able to speak to your guest, but also listen to them. This can be your interface where you can do both of those things from one unit. Okay, so that's the build quality and all of the physical attributes of this microphone. Very large grill. Makes me think that it's kind of like my SM7 that I have here, which does have a large grill underneath the cloth. And it also kind of makes me think of something like the RE20, another classic broadcast microphone, which had lots of grill in it to help with proximity effect as well as rejection. So it does a number of different things. But we'll hear how this sounds in just a few moments, because we're going to compare the FiFine Tank3 to the Shure SM7. So I'm going to find a little piece of copy. I'm going to read it on both microphones hooked up via XLR, and then we'll do a third read where it's hooked up via USB. So give me a couple seconds, and we'll be right back with the read. Also forgot to mention, it comes with a nice long USB-C to USB-A cable, but you can swap this out for your own USB-C to USB-C cable if that's how you need it to hook up to your machine. Another thing that came up that I only realized as I was recording this video is the Tank3 does not come included with one of these little adapters if you need to screw into something like the mic arm that I have here, where it goes from a 5/8 to this 1/2 inch. So it doesn't come with these little adapters if you need to do that for whatever your mic stand is. Just something to keep in mind. For our read today, I'm going to be using what are called the Harvard sentences. The Harvard sentences are a list of multiple kinds of sentences that have all the different consonants and vowel sounds in them. So I use this a lot when I'm doing live sound or, broadcast production. If we need to do any kind of audio check, I just do a quick Google search, Harvard sentences, pick any list and just read through them. Right now, we're going to pick list 3, because why not? And we're going to read the first 4 lines. And we're going to do it first with the SM7. Then we're going to switch to the XLR for the FiFine Tank3. Then we'll switch to USB for the FiFine Tank3 and see if there's any differences or how the quality stands up to something that we already know. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. press the pants, and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. All right, well, that's the audio examples. Now we have to get into the nitty-gritty. What does something like this cost? Well, we know that the Shure SM7b, as of the recording of this video, is $399. The FiFine Tank3 microphone comes in at $80. Now, here are some things that I discovered as I was doing this example and recording this video. The LED right here, it only activates when you have this microphone hooked up via USB. If you have it hooked up via XLR, you don't get the LED on, but also, at that point, if you're using XLR, you probably know when it's going to be hot and not hot. If you're hooking this up to a computer, then the handy LED is definitely good to have, especially if you're doing quick podcasts, gaming sessions, one-on-one Zoom calls, things of that nature. Having that visual of knowing when you're muted or not is handy to have in those kinds of scenarios. As far as the input controls for the level of the microphone, that is really only kind of dependent when you're hooked up via USB. When you're hooked up via XLR, use your interface or your preamp to get the gain that you need. The adjustment on the microphone doesn't really play as much at that point. And then the headphone control is exactly that. It's just the volume boost for the headphone output. I was able to hear the input of the microphone, so myself, directly in through the ears. It did a great job. It does exactly what it needs to do. It's an input and output over USB-C for very quick and easy audio interfacing. And that USB-C is really good for quick run and gun connections, or it's going to be your normal, so you have it always hooked up this way. Really, it's up to you. And this video is just here to serve and show you the audio that comes off of the FiFine Tank3. So if you're interested in picking up one of these for yourself, use the link down in the description. I want to thank the crew over at FiFine for reaching out and seeing if I was going to be interested to checking out the Tank3. I think it's a cool little form factor, a good price point, but I want you guys to tell me what you think of the sound, because I could tell you, but really use your opinion and your ears. So tell me what you think. So leave it in the comment, and until next time, happy mixing.